Welcome back to Lizard of Doom. I am Max. Reporter Max. See? Now I have applied to be press at the UK Gaming Expo, the biggest expo in the UK like this. 50,000 people attended last year's. Last Friday, I submitted my press application, and then when I checked my emails on the Monday, I had been accepted as press for this event, which I was super excited about. But that quickly died. What I didn't realise I'd signed up for was to immediately get doxxed by the Gaming Expo. As a press member now for this event, my email address was sent to every vendor there, hundreds of them, hundreds and hundreds of vendors. Every small gaming company trying to promote their GCSE art-looking card game sent me an email over the last week. I have received so many emails about so many card games. Do we have enough card games? Yes or no? Put in the comments now. Do we have enough card games? I think there's enough, guys. But anyway, doxing aside, I am still excited to go to the expo. I have prepared for the event tomorrow. And by that I mean I've bought 2 meal deals from Tesco's ready because I know if I just take one for lunch there, then I will eat it in the car on the way to Birmingham. And that is all the prep I've done. So enough of this. Like and subscribe. Thank you. Let's get to the actual day. Fast forward to tomorrow morning. Future Editing Max. Star Wipe. Once I had immediately slaked my thirst as a dice goblin, I moved on to the rest of the con. But first, I've played a game of D&D with these new dice since, and the coolest set here with the dragon eye on one side, and then that one on the other, is a bit busted. The dragon eye is kind of dipped in, so it likes to sit on that and give me nothing but nat ones. But yeah, otherwise, the gold set's pretty lucky, so that's good. At the con, there were a bunch of secondhand mini sellers. This was really cool to browse through. I didn't end up picking anything up, but I did find some nice, cool old retro Warhammer, and even a hell of a find, the original White Dwarf. This is the original White Dwarf with his original label, and it is £50. I think that's reasonable for a relic of this kind. Bushido was one of the first stalls I saw, and it was interesting to see. They're not such a small game, but I did not know their range was this massive. And something interesting about Bushido was that their range included lots of kind of fantasy stuff. I was under the impression that it was a straightforward samurai ninja kind of game. But no, lots of magical mysteries involved in this game, which was quite nice to see because this was my impression of it. It was just some guys doing a fight and that was the whole game. But no. Another cool company that aren't that small are Crooked Dice. They've been around for years. They had some really cool dioramas set up there, and it was really interesting to see all of their different models. They've got some nice sculpts and a really wide variety of miniatures that you could use in a bunch of games. Really nice. I also found a really good sculpt of your mum. It was nice to see her at the con. I didn't expect to see her, but yeah, we go way back. They are known for their knockoffs mainly though, Crooked Dice. Look at these gremlins and look at these ninja turtles, or sorry, martial artists and mutant brutes. Yeah, I don't know how they're getting away with that, and I don't know how they're getting away with these mushrooms. Let's move on. TT Combat was cool to see. They had a bunch of cool minis there. Some really nice larger sculpts and some really nice smaller scale sculpts. And some sculpts that were better for Tomb Kings than Tomb Kings themselves. And I also found your mum again. She keeps popping up everywhere. My favourite thing in their cabinets though were these vehicles on the left here. They were painted with a kind of colour shifting metallic that went between reds, greens, golds. It was beautiful. Dwarven Forge were an interesting company. They do hand painted modular terrain, and look at the setups you can make with their stuff. Really good for skirmish games and D&D, I'd recommend them for. But yeah, some beautiful light up things and all kinds of interesting gubbins on their table. That was a really nice display. Archon Studios have interesting ranges. I didn't know there was a Masters of the Universe game, so that was interesting to see. And they had this beautiful Phoenix. I think the paint job is doing it wonders here with those bright colours, but it is a gorgeous miniature. And if you're looking for a Phoenix for when High Elves come out in the old world, I'd recommend you look here rather than at the Games Workshop sculpt itself, because this is awesome. They also had a really cool range of dragons, my favourite being the Xenomorph Dragon. It is Alien meets fantasy. I am a massive Alien fan. Aliens, Alien 2, is my favourite film of all time, and this is a gorgeous thing to include in like a sci-fi D&D campaign. I popped into Only Games to have a chat with them. I've recently done an unboxing of their loot crate on the channel, so it was nice to catch up with the people I've been emailing in person and talk about the future of kind of working together and have a look at their technology. They also had some really nice sculpts on display and were giving away these free little dragons. They were very cute and clutching a meeple. Yoink. Conquest is another small vendor that I had a little look at. They have some very nice sculpts. They have these big gods that go with a themed army, and they were beautiful. If I was looking to pick up another, army scale game, I think I'd have chosen this, but I was looking for something a little bit smaller today. I've got vast armies in my pile of future fun, and I'm looking for something a bit quicker to get into, but these orcs on the dinosaurs were fantastic. They're so cool and massive. Quite refreshing as well not to see lizard men riding dinosaurs, as is the Warhammer trope, so this is good that they've moved away from that. They've got some other beautiful big miniatures there as well. And some really nice little dioramas set out, little battles in progress. It was a really cool stall to visit. Then it was time for meal deal number 2 and to apply more deodorant before going back into the crush. Take note, attendees, deodorant. Zero Genesis looked like a cool game, and they had lots of cool little sci-fi minis in there. That was a nice little stall to visit. Everything in their range seemed very mechanical, so if you're into that side of sci-fi, this could be the shout for you. Also nice to pay a visit to Moonstone and see games in progress. I didn't buy anything from them because I already own them. You may remember from earlier videos, Lydia likes fairies, so this is the game that she has the best choice of miniatures from. Fair amount of fairies and also some creepier, weird stuff. And their sculpts of humans, which I didn't get any footage of on the day, are super creepy. Oathsworn looked like a cool game. It is a board game, but the miniatures for it are gorgeous. Look at this giant rat and all its babies. Lots of them come with arm options so you can change out in between games, and they are just cool and a little bit different. This giant worm was a lovely sculpt going in and out of the ground, and the game was being demonstrated there too. It seemed like a lot of fun, but I'm more of a miniatures game man than a board game man. Bad Squiddo is a company I'd like to promote in this video. They have a lovely range of female miniatures. If you are looking for female miniatures for a game, check these out. They are not overly sexualized, wearing boob armor. They have a bunch of different settings, so you could pretty much find female sculpts for anything you are looking for. And I know that was a really quick blast through for this video, but it had been a very long day. I visited nearly every stall in Hall 1 and 2, and Hall 3 was for the gaming. So after that, I was pretty knackered, but we headed to the pub, and things got a little bit better from there, even though I felt slightly deranged. Heading back to the car, the Viking village outside had kicked off, which was kind of innate on our way in, but now was heavily populated and really cool to see and wander around. And Lydia made sure I filmed this sign because we've never seen a sign like this before. The demonstrations were cool and it wasn't all vicious attacking. Look at these guys go at it. Oh, yeah, get him. But it's all fun and games at the end of the day. Everyone's friendly, no hard feelings. Give them a little spank on the bottom. Look, come on, have you a little spanky? Come on. Boop, boop, boop. Then back to the car and back home to film a haul reveal for you. And oh yeah, this is Lydia's haul. One tour chick. She's not as into miniature games as I am, but one tour chick was everything she got that day. Before we get into my miniature game picks, I'd like to give a shout out to Chronicle Cards, who provided me with this free set of wolf bristle brushes at the expo. Lovely person I spoke to there. I believe they were the owner of the company. These seem like beautiful brushes with nice wooden handles. There is 2 of kind of all the ones you'll commonly use and 1 of the smaller and larger scale ones. This is a nice little way to package these because you're going to go through those brushes a lot quicker that there are 2 of. The bristles themselves are actual wolf hair, so that's something to take note of. That's interesting. I didn't know wolf's hair was good for paintbrushes, but I do have a friend that has this set, and he says they are very good. So I'm excited to start using these on the channel and see what they are like. The hair seems to hold up quite well and keep its point quite nicely. Interesting to see how durable they are. Yeah, thank you very much, Chronicle Cards. So all in all, that was a fantastic day. Really nice to see all that stuff. I bought the t-shirt and I bought a couple of other t-shirts too. I spent £200 there total. That was my budget and I managed to keep within it. I went there for one reason and one reason only: to discover new miniatures games and bring them to you. I wanted to pick up one new sci-fi game, one new fantasy game, and one larger scale miniature and promote those companies to you if you've never seen them before. So let's start with a little subscribe and a like first. Thank you very much. That was cheeky, wasn't it? And then we'll get into the sci-fi game. So my first choice. So the sci-fi game is Sythopian Wars or Sythopian Wars. I'm very sorry for butchering that. I didn't ask about pronunciation, but I did have a really nice chat at the booth with the guys working there. This is a new game. They have 2 factions currently out and a Kickstarter coming with more miniatures for those 2 factions and a 3rd faction as well, which are big bug looking things which do not look like Tyranids, which is a refreshing break in a sci-fi miniatures game. So it's your standard dystopian future kind of thing, and I went with the faction that has been overrun with AI, the Confederation, and I picked up these little convict dudes with screens on their faces, and that's what sold them to me. The fact that I could put anything on their little screen faces that I wanted to. That's what got me into this faction. I spoke for ages with the chaps at the booth and they were very, very cool, and they told me all about the lore when I was asking about specific models. And these convicts, their lore is that they are convicts forced into battle in these suits, and if they don't go, the suits will start shutting down their organs. Meanwhile, the screens on their faces blare propaganda onto the battlefield. So that's a really cool little touch. And you can see on their chests, they've got this cool little face, and that's on all of the AI controlled thingamajigs. You can buy a box of troops for this game from between £25 and £35, which is, reasonable for a miniatures game. That's about right. and all of their STLs, yes, you can also get STLs for this game, are $3.99. So for each unit, it's $3.99, and then obviously print as many as you want. That's what sold me on this. I picked up a box on the day to help support them, and they were doing a discount on the day, so I think it was only about 20 quid for the box of miniatures there. And now I'm going to pick up the rest as STLs and print as many as I want. The rules are also free, which is what I'm looking for in a miniatures game. I'm sick to death with the codex monopoly that Warhammer have, and I want something where I can just get the minis and play it with the rules in front of me and not have to pay an extra like £30 to £100 for all of the rules I need. So if you're into sci-fi games as a majority, go and check out Sythopian Wars. I will link everything to do with them down below. I'll link their website and I'll link their Kickstarter too. And now we'll move on to the fantasy game. Black Scorpion Miniatures had a very small booth at the convention. Blink and you miss it. It was one guy sat in the middle and two little cases either side, but the pirate miniatures in that case caught my eye. Now the other game they have is called Tombstone, and it is a cowboy game, so if you're really into Red Dead 2 or just cowboy aesthetic, that could be for you. They've got loads of different factions, but not fantasy. The fantasy game is the pirate game, the one I've bought into, and that is Cutlass. Again, all free rules and beautiful, beautiful minis. You can tell these are hand-sculpted minis, and they've been going for a little while, so if you go through different pirate boxes, like Pirate Box 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, you can see the quality of sculpts improve, and that is really nice to see in a small company like this. You can see them working and making something better every time. And you may be thinking, Max, pirates, that's not fantasy, that's real. Wrong. Well, no, pirates were real, and still are, but they're different. That's not what this video is about. They also have other factions than pirates. They have, the privateers and the Royal Navy and all that, but they also have orcs, goblins, dwarves, and undead. There are some lovely miniatures in this range. I mentioned this to my friend on the way home, showed him all my haul, and he immediately bought all of the dwarves. And I think the whole dwarf range came to about 40-50 quid, so really, really reasonably priced miniatures here. It's £10 for a box of 4 miniatures, and single miniatures, like the characters, can come at like £3.50 to £4. Really, really cheap, and you need about 10 to play. Also, rules are all free as well. So that is a really good game that I'm going to be looking at my next game day with that friend who's bought all of those dwarves. Hello, Joe. Yeah, we're looking forward to that. And my final pick for a large-scale miniature was Atlantis Games. Now, they've recently taken over Blue Giant Games, so some of the branding is a little bit mishmash at the moment, so they are going to be growing from that. They've taken over that old miniatures range from Blue Giant, and they are now making their own things as Atlantis Games. They've got some beautiful dwarf sculpts, to talk about dwarves again, and they are very, very tempting, but there is no game out for them yet. I talked to the chap there and he seemed a little bit baffled that I was asking questions, but he told me that they're working on a Dwarven Civil War game, which is very interesting, especially with the quality of these dwarf sculpts. They are beautiful, some of the best Dwarven sculpts I've seen. But I was there for a larger scale miniature and I settled on the Etin in the end. I've been wanting to paint a giant for a while, just in my free time, maybe not for the channel, maybe just for me. And the kind of flabby big giants that Games Workshop produce are the norm now, and I wanted something, ripped and strong, something that seems a bit scarier than, mega-sized Dave from the pub. And so I've picked up this Etin, and you can see that I have built and primed all of the miniatures that I picked up that day, ready to film them for you now. And this is him compared to a human-size miniature. He is quite big. He falls in between the Gargant size for Warhammer and the Mega Gargant size. He's like bang in the middle. Thank you all for watching. I hope you found something new that you can enjoy. Thank you to my Patreons if you would like to join them. Link is up there now. Check out my website for my new terrain drop that dropped earlier this month. Thank you to everyone who has bought something. It's a really big help to the channel. I really hope I found something new for you to have a little look at. Look at Cutlass. That seems like a really cool game that I'm about to play. Sythopian Wars, also getting into that and backing their Kickstarter, and Atlantis Games. This has been a bit of an experiment of a video for me. Sorry about the shaky footage on the day. It was really packed, and to get to each stall was like getting to a bar in a student club. You had to throw elbows to get there and kind of muscle in and get to see what you wanted. So I didn't have a great opportunity to get the footage, but hopefully you enjoyed this video. Remember, it's not a pile of shame, it's a pile of future fun. See you next time, kids. Peace.